Did you know that there's a group based right here in Leamington that since 2022 has been fundraising, procuring, kitting out and taking ambulances to Ukraine? To tell us about this remarkable initiative, I have with me Dawid Kozlowski, who is a trustee of Belveder, an organisation that's spearheading our efforts to support the people of Ukraine. Dawid, welcome to Life in Lem.
Hi team, thank you for inviting me for this podcast today.
So the Polish Centre in Leamington has been supporting the people of Ukraine for some considerable time. Tell us how that got started.
Going back, we were sending aid to the sisters in Ukraine of St. Joseph. It was the annual cash donation. And when the war started, we started a collection over at the Polish Centre. I remember a few people were saying, Dawid, but what are we going to do if no one's going to bring anything? That would be embarrassing. And eventually, when we've opened the Polish Centre for donations, and literally a few hours later, our chapel was pretty much packed.
Wow.
And there were more people coming in. There was a huge queue of people with different stuff trying to bring in. And all of a sudden, the Polish Centre was just filled with people, with donations. And then we ran out of space. We approached Ahmadiyya Muslim mosque. We filled them up the mosque the next day. And there was a cafe next door to the Polish Centre. The owner was doing refurbishment. And again, that filled up in a few hours' time.
Wow.
And on a day 3, we were just saying, sorry, we can't take it anymore.
That's extraordinary, isn't it?
And then we moved into kind of a stage where we were sending lorries out.
So a regular flow of aid and supplies to Ukraine, but how did that turn into ambulances?
It was a very random conversation I had from a Scottish guy who I couldn't understand what the word he was saying. So I said, why don't you just send me a text message? Because all I understand was ambulance. And eventually, as it turns out, he had the ambulance to Ukraine. That originally supposed to go to Gaza. And I put him in touch with some people in Poland, and he drove over that ambulance to Medica at the time, and he passed that vehicle over. We've exchanged a few more messages. As it turns out, the guy is doing an amazing job, and he's delivered over 50 vehicles into various different countries. It gave me that idea of, why don't you just start sending ambulances to Ukraine? So he gave me a few advices, and that was my first time we went to Ukraine with the ambulances was August 2022. So we started with 2 ambulances. Then a few more people approached saying, I want to buy an ambulance. I want to buy them and save someone's life.
Brilliant.
And that's kind of how it all started, doing these vehicles into Ukraine. Originally we thought 2 will be a huge achievement, then 4. 8, 12 is going to be maximum, and we are currently on number 61.
Wow. So 61 ambulances from your efforts and the efforts from people in and around Leamington out in Ukraine.
Yes, obviously that wouldn't be possible without sponsorship of LKQ Euro car parts, who donated, incredible amounts of money.
And so once the ambulances get out to Ukraine, what are they used for? Are they all used in terms of getting people back from the battlefront, or do they end up in other uses? What happens to them?
So it very, very depends where they're going to. If they're going to hospitals, they would just operate as any day-to-day ambulance in the hospital. Mm-hmm. If they go into military units, they will be kept around 20 to 30 kilometers away from, as the Ukrainians call it, red zone. And red zone means basically a drone zone. So the wounded person in the front line is going to be evacuated by the 4x4 vehicle, and then moved in that 4x4 vehicle into an ambulance. From that ambulance, there's going to be the first aid provided for them, and then taken into a frontline hospital.
Right. And so in terms of an ambulance, I mean, clearly there's the fundraising and the procurement of the ambulance, but I guess that's not the end of it. What else has to happen before that ambulance can actually be deployed usefully in Ukraine?
So it's a long process. Obviously, it's all started with money. Once you've got the money, you're going out and you do the procurement.
So these are ambulances that were part of the NHS or whatever and have now finished their planned life in the NHS and are now available to buy, basically.
Anyone can go out and buy them. We then taking it to a service. It needs to be checked. We'll make sure it's safe to drive because it's a long way. They always loaded with medical supplies. Well, obviously with Easter eggs. We're collecting Easter eggs now.
So the ambulance is now prepped, ready to go. What happens next?
We're going out hunting for drivers, volunteers drivers. So finding people who have confirmed the availability. We're then going out, booking the hotels for the drivers, return tickets, and confirm with Leszczysk. There's a small town in Poland, and that is the major humanitarian hub for Ukraine. They send over 3,500 lorries into Ukraine from that warehouse there. So all the aid from Europe goes into Leszczysk and then is shipped over to Ukraine.
Right.
Once the drivers get to Leszczysk, after 3 days of driving, on a day 3, they drop the vehicles with the team in Leszczysk and go back to Krakow, and they fly on the following day to UK, and then the volunteers in Leszczysk take it over to Ukraine. Now, I personally been very lucky within working with Belveder team and everyone here. It is a team of people who are genuine, selfless, and we all unpaid volunteers. There's no paid staff in what we do. We committed our time, our skills, and the resources we have available to support other people. And it's just a fantastic team that we all working together for the same goal of supporting people in need.
So you mentioned Eurocar parts, you've mentioned Belvedere as well. Eurocar parts, I think everyone's probably heard of. Belvedere, probably not. Could you tell us a bit about who they are?
It's a community interest company that we're trying to convert into a full charity. It was set up back in 2023. The aim of that was division from the Polish Centre, where originally everything started, and it was keep growing and keep growing and keep growing into a separate organisation that is just dedicated to support people across in Ukraine, but also support people over here in Warwickshire.
So Belvedere was spun out of the Polish Centre originally and sort of taken on its own life.
Yes, yes, and that was easier to divide two organisations because the aims were different. People were pretty much the same, but it was just important to see that what is this organisation doing, what's the other charity do.
And here you are 61 ambulances later.
61 ambulances, here we are.
I mean, that's the amazing thing, isn't it? Because it's a desperate situation, but it brings out the very best of people and organisations in a way you never expected. And the humanity that it brings out in people is phenomenal, isn't it?
Yes, I think what the difference is, and I was speaking with Paul Sengera, who is our Vice Lord Lieutenant of Warwickshire, and he gets really involved, and he's done 3 trips now, I think, and he's going out on the 6th of March. He was saying what the difference is, because often when you donate money to a charity, the money goes to the pot, and you just go to the pot, you don't know what it is. But when you fundraising with us, you're fundraising for an ambulance, and you're going out, you just see the vehicle itself, you know where the money went to. You know, it's the vehicle.
Very real, isn't it? Yeah. So, Dawid, if someone's been listening to this and is sort of inspired to try and help out in some way, what can they do?
We're looking for supporters who could do a fundraising for us. Funding is crucial because every ambulance journey starts with funding. Obviously, donations of unused medicines, INCOP hats.
And you mentioned Easter eggs, with Easter coming up as well.
Yes, so obviously every year we do Easter eggs. That would just brings a lot of joy for children in Ukraine. First time we did it, and I asked our sisters what the children think, and they said, oh, it's brilliant because they don't have Easter eggs. They have Easter bunny. So for them, having that Easter eggs was something brand new to them. And they really appreciate that. It's not just about the practical goods, the physical goods that we received, or Ukrainians received. It's about this invisible message that we're sending to Ukrainians. You're not standing alone. There are people far away. They don't know you, but they care about you. They're standing with you and they support you. And that's very important to them, to support them in this difficult time.
And so I'll put in the blurb accompanying the podcast details of what to do if you want to donate money, fundraise, volunteer as a driver, donate unwanted medications, incontinence pads, and of course Easter eggs too. And I should also mention that if you'd like to understand how the war is impacting people a little better, then there is the Voices of Ukraine free exhibition running at All Saints Church until the 3rd of March. David, thank you so much for giving us this insight into the Ambulances for Ukraine work that you do. And thank you to you and your team for the incredible efforts that you're putting into this really important cause.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you very much.